Long time no see, long time no speak.
Oh, I know Krieg has been a long time. I mean, we had so many great journeys down the road, and I think back to the days of Cedartown and all the wonderful people there, and Peachtree, and you know you've been such a great champion in this sport. I think people underestimate exactly how good you were and what you brought to the table. But man, you had some stunning peach trees. In Sydney, you captured a silver medal in the marathon. So you're one of those guys who, if it had not been for your countryman Ernst Van Dyke, who was so fast for so many years, you probably would have snagged more than one Boston win. So we're watching the marathon yesterday, it became instantly apparent that Marcel was really going for a record. I mean, he was really banging the chair and he had the
Oh,
motor running. And then all of a sudden, he left the frame of the picture at about 26 miles where you're supposed to make a right-hand turn. So you happen to be one of three people who have done that. Marcel, Tom Sellers, who was racing against Fry at the time, and you. And social media started to really blow up. Oh man, there's only three turns on this course. How can they miss a turn? It's a blue line.
yeah.
Krieg, how do you explain after to those people, how do you miss a turn like that? What happened?
You've done basically 26 miles by then and you are toast. And the only thing you're looking for is the finish line and that banner. And I know, I've done the marathon several times before then, but when that lead vehicle go through that, the lead vehicle basically goes straight, and then they don't really close that gate right away again, behind the lead vehicle. And I think that's what happened the year when I went straight there. The lead vehicle went through, uh, uh, and the gate was open, and I just thought, for the moment, I had to go straight. And as soon as I, crossed that, there wasn't even a line there. As soon as I realized I just went too far, I spun around and I turned back, and then it was I lost the place already then because someone was chasing me right on my tail. But you know, it happens. There should be someone, I would say, for safety, that something like this cannot happen again. Just there for that time until they have that barrier up again, just to point you in the right direction.
I no, I agree. Seemingly, it has happened three times now in history that we know about to significant players. So maybe it's happened to others too in the past. But I recall that turn, and it's a pretty sharp turn. It seems to be a little bit off camber, and
Yeah.
you're coming up on it. Sellers, indicated that you come up on that turn too with a pretty good amount of speed.
Yeah, I mean, but it's almost like it comes up to you so quick. You feel like, because you feel like you're gonna you might still go straight, and then all of a sudden you have to make that turn. And that is it's a fast part of the course. The last bit of the course, there's quite a bit of downhill still after Heartbreak. There's a lot of downhill down into the city, so it could still be a little bit of a downhill. And then, of course, if you are off camber, it can be a tricky one. But yeah, I think it's I mentioning the fact that it was only me and two other guys. I feel like someone else also told me they had the same issue before. So I'm sure it happened to more guys. So that's it's definitely something to reckon for the organizers, I would say.
We talked a little bit with Marcel too about the elevational course and the elevational nature of the Boston Marathon. And it's pretty interesting because, for you, it's a complete different complexity than it is for the big coasters, Ernst and Marcel and Sellers and Franz Nietlischbach. Those guys carry such tremendous weight and speed downhill. For you, the going uphill portion of the contest is essentially where you have to make up your gaps. So, where everybody else is dreading Heartbreak Hill, you're probably the guy going, man, I can't wait to take a chunk out of these 3 hills.
Hmm. Yeah, I spoke to Ernst yesterday after the race, and I asked him how did Marcel get away, and he said Marcel pulled an Ernst. So Ernst just went all out from the get go, and he crested at first. Then it was still a when it was between me and Ernst. Those days it was still controlled start, and then you had the little climb, and then you start coasting, and you go as hard as you can to crest. And Ernst was so strong with that initial crest that it was always so hard for me just to stay close to him. And then he would roll away. By the time we get to Heartbreak, yeah, Ernst would be, he would be far enough ahead to be safe, but I still would be chasing. There was one year that we were a group. I think it was after 2010. Actually, we were a group, and it was, and I broke. That's why I broke away in Heartbreak. So it was my chance because we were all together, me and Ernst and Kota and I think Masazumi as well. So I got away, and then we started coasting back into the city. So I had a good little lead. I couldn't see them behind me. And I thought, today's my day. That was my day. And then I looked behind and I saw Ernst coming down where you go parallel to the railway cars.
Uh-huh.
That's where I looked behind me and I saw him behind me, and I coasted and I pushed. And I just saw him coasting and he coasting and he rolled right up behind me. We pushed together, and I knew it would be hard to finish, a race, a sprint against Ernst, because you don't want to be in a sprint against Ernst. He's so strong,
It's
and
such an
so yeah, and he
amazingly
got me in that sprint.
it's just such an amazingly diverse course, and there's so many complexities
Yeah,
to it. People always think that it's just a place where it's given you're going to set a record, but that's not always the case.
yeah.
Krieger, as you look at what's happening now with Marcel Hug, it seems like he and Daniel Romanchuk are starting to rewrite some of the record books. They're pushing speeds and times that I don't think that we could have ever fathomed.
Hmm.
As you see these two guys, what are your thoughts?
Well, that's definitely the way it's going. With you always think that you're not going to see an athlete like this for the next 15 or 20 years, but they keep coming. Daniel is fresh. He's still a little bit new on the scene, where Marcel has slowly over the years, he's been, Marcel has been here in the early 2000s, Peachtree coming here and always, trying to get, top 10. But he gradually moved his way up and worked his way up until he was such a consistent athlete now. And now I think that between the two of them, they just get the best of, they feed off of each other. So, on Sunday it was Chicago, and Daniel took it. Monday was a downhill course, and I definitely think Marcel's got the advantage with that new frame he has. That's quite an amazing piece of work, the new racing chair, and he is just one with that chair.
Well, hopefully everybody gets to enjoy technology like that a little bit more in the future. It seems like Chris Peterson over at Carbon Bike is making a pretty nice hybrid that probably cost a fraction of the price of Marcel's chair. But yeah, it's always nice to see guys pushing the envelope. But I think even more than that for guys like Marcel and Daniel is, they came up through a training system. And, I can remember Marcel coming to races like Peachtree as just a kid with that silver helmet on. He was like the skateboard kid. So, and the same thing with Daniel. Daniel's been pushing since he was probably like 9 years old. Most guys like yourself, myself, and the other guys, we started doing the sport when we were in our late 20s, early 30s. So I think maybe the youth is helping to attribute to some of their forward success too.
You know what? And I think a big thing there with the youth now coming, I think there's the youth in the next 5 or 10 years, you're going to see a lot of new races coming in. And I believe the reason for that is, schools are having athletics as wheelchair events as part of the athletic program now, where it used to be not so part. So you'll see, I went to junior nationals this year, and I was surprised by how many young athletes there are that is so talented. And the reason for that is schools. It's part of the school programs, and that's great. That's what you want.
For sure. My friend, it's been great catching up with you. Stay healthy, keep pushing, and doing your thing.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Good seeing you.
Bye,
Thanks
Krieger.
for inviting. All right. Take care. Bye bye.